To dwell solely in the realm of symbol and story is to admire a beautiful map of a territory you never intend to visit. The true power of this understanding, the raw, transformative magic of cognitive reframing, is only activated the moment you step off the page and into the messy, unpredictable, and breathtakingly real landscape of your life. This is where the philosopher becomes the architect, the mythologist becomes the craftsman. This is the art of everyday alchemy, where the leaden moments of fear and frustration are intentionally, skillfully transmuted into the gold of clarity and agency. It is not a dramatic, singular event, but a quiet, persistent practicer, reorientation of your inner compass until navigating by the stars of your core self becomes more natural than stumbling through the familiar darkness of your old fears. Imagine the moment of activation. You are about to walk into a room full of people, and the ancient, visceral fear of social judgment rises like a tide. The sentinel's alarm blares. Your heart hammers against your ribs like a prisoner demanding release, and the narrator, that frantic screenwriter, immediately begins drafting a tragedy titled "The Time I Made a Fool of Myself." The old script, the one written by the overzealous gatekeeper, demands you either flee, hide in a corner, or armor yourself in a brittle, unnatural persona. This is the critical juncture, the fork in the road between the labyrinth and the open sky. The practice of integration begins here, not by fighting the fear, but by engaging the observer. It is the internal whisper, a moment of profound metacognition. Ah, the guardian is activated. The story of humiliation is being drafted. This is not a crisis, this is a cognitive event. This simple act of naming it, of identifying the machinery as it grinds into motion, creates a sliver of space. In that space, you have a choice. You can then engage the narrator as an editor. You can survey the catastrophic draft and ask, with gentle curiosity, what is the evidence for this story? Is it a fact that I will be humiliated, or is it an interpretation? What is a more accurate, more generous story? Perhaps that these are just people, like me, and my goal is not to be perfect, but to be present, to connect, to learn. This is not a hollow affirmation. It is a strategic recalibration of your narrative lens. You are not denying the physiological reality. You are changing its meaning from impending doom to my body's ancient energy preparing for a significant moment. The energy remains, but it is no longer your master. It becomes fuel for your focus, your presence, your engagement. This practice extends its roots into the very soil of your past. We are all living historians, curating museums filled with the artifacts of our old wounds and failures. For many, these museums are haunted houses, and we are forced to walk through them in the dark, flinching at every remembered slight and echoing criticism. Cognitive reframing allows you to flip on the lights. It is the process of returning to those past events not as a traumatized victim, but as a compassionate archaeologist. You take the memory of a failed business, a rejected proposal, a painful breakup, and you hold it under the new light of the observer. You deconstruct the old, monolithic story of "I am a failure" into its component parts. You examine the conditions, the context, the knowledge you had at the time, the external factors at play. You ask, what did I learn from this that made me stronger? How did this failure actually steer me toward a different, better path? What skill did I develop in its aftermath? You are not erasing the past. You are recontextualizing it. You are moving the artifact from the hall of my greatest shames and placing it respectfully in the gallery of my most priceless lessons. The event itself is immutable, a fixed point in time, but its meaning, its emotional weight, and its power over your present identity are entirely negotiable. This is how we break generational curses and self-imposed limitations, not by forgetting the past, but by fundamentally changing our relationship to it. The implications of this practice ripple outwards, transforming not just your internal world, but the very fabric of your external reality. Your career ceases to be a linear path defined by avoiding mistakes and becomes a dynamic canvas for experimentation and learning. A setback is reframed from a verdict on your ability into a data point, an essential feedback loop for your growth. Your relationships are transformed as you learn to reframe other people's actions. A loved one's sharp tone is no longer immediately a story of intentional malice. They are trying to hurt me, but can be seen through a lens of context. They must be under immense stress. This isn't really about me. This is the birthplace of true empathy and resilient connection. Even your relationship with the future shifts from one of anxiety-driven forecasting to one of intentional, values-based creation. You stop asking, "What terrible thing will happen?" and start asking, "What do I want to build? And what is one small step I can take toward it today?" The world itself begins to look different because the lens through which you view it has been cleansed of the distorting grime of catastrophic thinking. Challenges remain. Pain is still a part of the human experience, but it loses its sharp, personal edge. It becomes, whether sometimes stormy, sometimes calm, while you become the mountain, steadfast in your core, knowing that the storms, too, shall pass, and that they often leave the air clearer and the landscape more vibrant in their wake. This is the ultimate real-world implication. You are no longer a passive passenger on a chaotic journey. You become the navigator, the cartographer, and the conscious creator of your own experience. One reframed thought, one chosen response at a time.